There's always something to discuss when it comes to this brand. 205 Live matters. Could be anything, from the production value, to the roster, to the future. So join in on the discussion, contribute your thoughts, contribute your own topics, and thank you for supporting this brand. Enjoy.
Let's go ahead and talk about some simple 205 Live matters. So, first off, let's talk about potential additions to the roster, starting with stars that exist. I got two in mind. Robbie E. and Tyler Breeze. Robbie E. is the newest signee now for WWE's Performance Center and NXT. He's a former X Division champion and has experience under this type of wrestling back in Impact Wrestling. I could see him potentially going to the roster. I could also see, though, Tyler Breeze, and shout out to 205 Live Matters follower Christopher Willis, also a good friend of Lovey Cindy G. Thank you both, by the way. He thinks Tyler Breeze would be an interesting fit also to the roster. Now, would you call it a demotion or would you call it a character reset? What are your thoughts on either Robbie E. and or Tyler Breeze joining the 205 Live roster?
I remember Robbie in TNA. Like I said, I thought his character was entertaining. I think he'd make a good addition to the brand. Tyler Breeze is like one of those things. He was in NXT for what, over 5 years. He was coming along. He was having damn good matches. One of my favorite matches of him when he fought Jushin. No, what it was? Yeah, it was Jushin Thunder Liger. I'm trying to remember my history.
Take over Brooklyn. You're right.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember my history on here. But like I said, that was a damn good match. And like I said, I mean, he's very talented. Like I said, they put him on the main roster. He was getting a push for a hot minute, and then it was just like nothing. He was pretty much like the fall boy for everybody. So I think him going 205 Live would be really helpful in this instance in his career, and I think he could bring something to that brand. But then I kind of wonder, is Fandango going to go with him too?
Good point.
Are they going to bring back? Are they going to bring the Fashion Police, the Fashion Files? They're going to do all that, or are they going to make Tyler Breeze's character a little bit more serious and let him go out there and just go all out and see what he can do and show the world how good he really is? Because I think that fashion, even though it's entertaining, Tyler Breeze is a lot better of a wrestler than that. He's a lot more than just that.
I completely agree, because yes, you're right. When Tyler Breeze first showed up on the roster, feuding with Dolph Ziggler, he had his own little like VIP section. He was this put over super fashion model type thing, and yet now he's basically become the fall guy. I mean, his last real highlight, in my opinion, was his match against Ricochet back in NXT, and that was an open challenge for his North American Championship. But going back to what you brought up about the Fashion Police and Fandango, truth be told, the only cameo that Tyler Breeze and Fandango ever had on 205 Live prior to this was literally a segment with Drew Gulak, and they arrested him for being poor fashion and gave him a ticket when they were the Fashion Police. Now, Fandango, according to W Performance Center YouTube channel, he's currently rehabilitating, training, recovering. He's already talked about how he wants to come back as a serious competitor. He's marked off that comedy stick from his career. So I really feel like Fandango, if he were to come back, I don't think they would come back as the Fashion Police. So I feel like Tyler Breeze going to 205 Live would make sense, as Fandango would go for his singles push. Because Fandango also had a hot start. He beat Chris Jericho back at WrestleMania 29 in his WrestleMania debut. So maybe this will bring back the whole, maybe this will bring back the whole like Fandango character, and then the serious Tyler Breeze, don't touch me, yada yada yada. But I could definitely see both men being rejuvenated as singles competitors, and I feel like Tyler Breeze would make a great fit for 205 Live. I could honestly see Tyler Breeze and Robbie E maybe being a tag team.
Or maybe you could see it where Fandango and Tyler Breeze both go to 205 Live, and then you see an actual split, and then they could have a feud for a little while, and then go from there and have them actually do maybe an official split, do an official split, and then they could feud for a little bit and get going on that. And like I said, I think they could both work great against each other instead of being a team, just work great against each other just to build each other up. I'd like to see that going on.
Well, sometimes the best person you can be in the ring with is your best friend as your opponent, because your best friend will probably give you the best match you will have. Definition, HBK and Triple H. If you haven't seen their matches from like SummerSlam and Hell in a Cell and the rivalry back in early days of Raw, folks, it was some of the best matches you will ever see. Okay. So those are potential additions as far as people that exist. Let's talk about desired additions to 205 Live in general. And before I get your thoughts on this, I was going through social media and looking at what some other people thought about potentially people that should be on there, whether already in WWE, not in WWE, might be going to WWE, etc. Like Chris Willis, for example. He said Tyler Breeze. Thank you again, Chris. Mark Golden, he brought up names Ricochet, Johnny Gargano, Finn Balor, and what I didn't think about at all, Rey Mysterio. Go follow him, by the way, at the Mark Golden on Twitter. He thought that any of these people would be great as part of the impending shakeup. It would bring more fans to get behind the brand and tune in more regularly. What are your thoughts as far as those names or anyone else you think could elevate the awareness of 205 Live?
Well, I remember we talked about this on the chat about if we were fantasy booking, for example, and I brought up maybe doing a match with past versus present, doing Buddy Murphy versus Rey Mysterio. I think that would bring some name recognition there. You know, Rey Mysterio pretty much between WCW and WWE is an 8-time Cruiserweight champion. I mean, like I said, he's got the history. He started off as a Cruiserweight. He was one of those innovators who helped build the Cruiserweight division back in WCW back in 95, 96, or no, 96 and everything like that.
Right.
I mean, he's one of those men that helped build the Cruiserweights for what they're known for. So him being a part of that, would definitely help elevate that show and would bring, I guess, I don't want to say more legitimacy because I think everybody that's on 205 Live has amazing talent. But that would bring more name recognition to the show where people would probably be like, ooh, I got to check this out. Rey Mysterio's back. I got to see what he's doing on that show. You see what I'm saying? If you had somebody like a Ricochet, the thing with Ricochet, he's so damn good. He could compete on any brand, but I'm loving what he's doing right now with Aleister Black. Now, I know that's probably not going to last forever. You know, eventually, like I said, any tag team breaks up, whatever. But Ricochet would be a good addition, too, but it's just hard to see right now what they would do with him with that. I mean, he could, if you don't do anything with Ricochet other than him come in, mainly win the title and help and go ahead and be champion and be a dominant champion, that's what I want to see do, not just going to like facing Brian Kendrick or different people like that. I'd want to see him in the top feud immediately if Ricochet came on there.
Yeah, that's a very, very good point. And Aaron Riffian quoted saying that Ricochet is incredible, but he thinks he's actually too good for 205 Live, going back to your point. Same with Johnny Gargano and such. So, yeah, but I feel like Rey Mysterio will be a very interesting addition to the roster, or, as you said, even a one-off to face Buddy Murphy. That being said, Drake Maverick, one of the best cruiserweights in the world. Rey Mysterio, would you testify him still as a cruiserweight? Could that potentially be in the match we'll see next week?
It could be possible if they brought Rey Mysterio in for that. That would be possible, too. But also, I've kind of thrown out to two other additions they could bring along Pete Dunne. We've talked about this before, me and you in past. We've talked about Pete Dunne going in there and still whether he's still the United Kingdom champion or not, going in there and wanting to try to challenge for that title and having a program and stuff. Or
Right.
even bringing somebody like a Devlin.
Right, we got to make sure, of course, he's under 205 pounds or whatever the metrics are in the UK. But, yeah, that's definitely another potential candidate. Yeah, so, again, I have this international shakeup, as they're calling it. It's got to involve some shakeup for 205 Live. I can't imagine them just going off the existing roster. There's either going to be more debuts or someone's finally going to get moved. But I'm very curious to see what they do. But, yeah, right now, off the top of my head, I think Rey Mysterio is definitely your go-to guy to face Mike Kanellis next week or Buddy Murphy down the line if Buddy Murphy is still Cruiserweight champ. But we'll get into that later. Good topic. Okay, so let's move on from there, and let's think about this. So we already know Drew Gulak, an incredible part of the 205 Live roster. He elevated it all in himself. He's all about for a better 205 Live. Well, my friend on Twitter, fellow No DQ Galaxy member, Brandon Grateman, who also talked about the first topic too, but also this topic. Thank you, by the way, Brandon. Go follow him, folks, at @FreeGreatman on Twitter. He brought up this. How to make 205 Live better. Now, when I think about how to make 205 Live better, I wonder what he means. Does he mean awareness? Does he mean overall star power? Does he mean overall production value? Does he mean overall sales? Does he mean overall viewership? How to make 205 Live better. Is Drew Gulak the answer to that, or at least the starting point to that? Is this shakeup potentially going to shift waves and make 205 Live better? It's an interesting question, especially when you think about Drew Gulak. he's all about for a better 205 Live. But is it really about himself, or is it more than that? Chris, what are your thoughts on the question of how to make 205 Live better, and what do you propose to make it better?
I think more awareness is the key too. Like I said, part of the thing is, remember, you got to think before that. Like I said, you got to remember back in storyline as we go. Raw owns the cruiserweights in storyline. Why are we not having some of these matches? We got 3 hours of Raw. Why are we not having at least 1 or 2 matches here? You know, showcase these guys' talents on a wider audience. Let the people see how good these guys are and go, let's put a great match together and be like, oh, man, I got to check out 205 Live. I got to see somebody like a Drew Gulak, or I got to see somebody like a Cedric Alexander. I got to see somebody like a Brian Kendrick or Giselle or whoever they put on there in a match. Man, I gotta see that match because that was such an exciting match. I gotta see what's going on in this show and check this out. And I think that's one thing is a little bit more exposure. You know, like I said, based on the storyline, Raw owns the cruiserweights. If we remember back in storyline from years ago when they did that when they did the brand split.
Right,
so
2016.
Let's do something.
Yeah, it's really interesting when you think about it too, because back then when the cruiserweights were used on Raw, it was literally tag matches, or it was all centered around a person we will not name. But yeah, I feel like if they were to incorporate more of the 205 Live roster on the Raw brand in their own matches, in accordance to their storylines on 205 Live, it would definitely help the exposure. Aaron even said how the drop-off from Raw pretty much hurt them. The only cruiserweights that are literally used on Raw as nowadays is Lucha House Party, and Leo Rush, who's literally just Bobby Lashley's hype guy. You might as well call him Bobby Lashley's bitch.
Pretty much.
Sad but true. Yeah, when I think about a better 205 Live, it's got to start with awareness. You want to bring more eyes to the product. You want to make people more aware of the cruiserweight division. You want to make people believe more and care more about the title. In my opinion, the cruiserweight title is one of the more valued titles in WWE. It's not hot potatoes. It's not randomly booked. It's not cheaply used. And it's not just wasted off to the side. It literally surrounds and is based on what 205 Live is all about, what everyone goes for. They got a suitable-sized roster of people who want to go for the title. Less than 20 people, I believe, not including the tag team feuds going on with Jack Gallagher, Drew Gulak, and Humberto Carrillo, and Akira Tozawa and D. Brian Kendrick. So when I think about making 205 Live better, maybe you just literally try and do a cruiserweight title match on Raw, a legitimate one, or maybe an open challenge. Maybe bring the cruiserweight title on NXT and do open challenge there. I feel like exposure of the title more is how you would make 205 Live better. They already got a great roster. I think they got a great setup as how they do the shows. And I feel like commentary is on point usually. They don't have just commentary talking about trash stories or side stuff or bickering amongst themselves. So that's just my opinion. Use your title more, make people more aware of it, and maybe do one-offs with a few slightly better known names between NXT and Monday Night Raw. To start, heck, in my opinion, I feel like SmackDown Live is a better fit for the Cruiserweight division and the Cruiserweight title. Imagine them somehow bringing in Mustafa Ali to face Buddy Murphy on SmackDown Live. What callbacks and what a moment that would be.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, main event to close out this episode, a WrestleMania 5. So we already talked about how the Cruiserweight title should not be on the kickoff show. I digress. but let's talk about another match in mind. Kurt Angle. He's having his farewell match at WrestleMania. We have no idea who he's going to face. Names that have been brought up included but not limited to Bobby Lashley, EC3, John Cena, Drew McIntyre, even Baron Corbin. God help us. But here's something that someone brought up that I thought was really interesting on Twitter. At Samoan Roots, go on, folks. I think his name's Lau. He brought up this random, from out of nowhere, random bout between Kurt Angle and Drew Gulak. It would be a technical wrestling gem. Straight up mat wrestling with two of the best. Imagine, in Kurt Angle's farewell match, he puts over Drew Gulak. What are your thoughts on that being a potential match for WrestleMania? And do you feel like that would be the best fit? Or could you see someone going better in that spot?
That's a very interesting thing you just said there with Drew Gulak. That would actually be something that'd be very interesting. like I said, they have the wrestlers always talk about as they get ready to retire. As they get ready to retire, they're the ones that want to put the younger guys over, put this new generation over. And what big exposure that would be for 205 Live is to have Drew Gulak go out there and be the one that ends up beating Kurt Angle in his retirement match. I think they would actually be able to pull off an awesome match, even with Kurt Angle's deteriorating health. They'd be able to pull off a great match, I believe, if we did something along that lines. That would actually be a good fit for him, be Drew Gulak.
Yeah, when I never even thought about Drew Gulak's name. I feel bad for not even thinking about that. Because, yeah, when I was thinking about who could face Kurt Angle, I was like, okay, one of the obvious choices is John Cena. He started off in his debut match, now goes full circle. John Cena goes over on Kurt in his retirement. Mutual respect, farewell, thank you for this. This is the match I wanted, maybe in Kurt Angle's words. Drew McIntyre, he formerly faced Kurt Angle. He won. But Drew McIntyre, he's got to be the guy getting the next Roman Reigns push, especially after that angle on Raw. EC3, if they were to call back, which they have been doing recently, example, Randy Orton and AJ Styles, if they were to call back to history in Impact Wrestling, Kurt Angle and EC3 have former history in Impact Wrestling over the TNA Heavyweight Championship. And then Drew Gulak, the exposure would be there on a massive scale, also incorporating the Cruiserweights even further, as they should be on the main card. And Drew Gulak, who's one of the more well-known people of the 205 Live roster, from his matches in NXT, from his matches from the World Class Tournament, and from his overall character use on Monday Night Raw, even during the dark days of 205 Live, it would make perfect sense. And I feel like that would also be one of his best matches, too. It would be slow-paced, it would be mat-based, and both men would really be going after a game of submissions. I feel like Drew Gulak would have to be a perfect fit for that. A unique, one-of-a-kind, one-off encounter. So I completely agree with this guy, and I could definitely see Drew going over with Kurt giving him the push. Now, would this lead to Drew Gulak actually going up to the main roster or being a next potential candidate to the Cruiserweight title? I guess only time will truly tell. All right. Well, that was a real fun discussion tonight on 205 Live Matters. Mr. Holiday, Chris Mace, thank you so much for joining me tonight on this wonderful discussion on 205 Live. Is there anything you would like to plug, and where can people find you?
I say you can just follow me on Facebook at Christopher Mace, and like I said, support Aftermatch Wrestling, support NoDQ.com, support this man right here. This man does a great show. Like I said, he is really passionate about 205 Live. Like I said, we're going to hope to God they get that WrestleMania match not on the pre-show, because he will never stop talking about it until we do. Because we don't want the bonus point being in any predictions whether the cruiserweight match is in the pre-show or not.
Don't get me started on that. I'll tell you what, folks, the weeks come up to WrestleMania, I'm going to keep on pushing this thing into the ground until I know for sure that the cruiserweights are not on the pre-show. They are on the main card.
I'll be happy if they're the opening match for WrestleMania. As long as they're the opening match for WrestleMania, I'll be happy with that. Just get them on the main show.
Yes. I mean, come on, Survivor Series. They were in the middle of the show. It was one of the better matches of the entire card. They deserve to be on the main card. Give them the opener. Give them the middle. Just don't put them on the pre-show. I don't care what Tony says from business standpoint. You guys deserve better. Your wrestling deserves better. But I digress. Okay. Anything else?
No, just one thing I just was thinking about real quick. We were speaking about Drew Gulak, just popped in my mind. What if they do the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, where they have maybe the winner be the one that faces Kurt Angle in his retirement match, and have Drew Gulak win that to be able to have the right to face Kurt Angle in his retirement match? That might be an interesting idea. It just popped up in my head.
That's not a bad idea at all, considering that trophy has little to no meaning. It would actually add stakes and make the Battle Royal actually mean something more. I could get behind that, because I could definitely see a lot of candidates in the Battle Royal either wanting the match with Kurt Angle or potentially being good at a match with Kurt Angle. Heck, I might get Cesaro versus Kurt Angle. I'd be okay with that. And maybe they can actually showcase those so-called NXT call-ups from a while back in the Battle Royals. I mean, we got Lacey Evans, we got EC3, we got Lars Sullivan. Maybe that could be Lars Sullivan's debut. He actually goes to the Battle Royal, he wins, and he gets the match with Kurt Angle. Because I could see that being an interesting back and forth bout. strength versus technicality, because Lars Sullivan is not the most finesse competitor in the ring, but he certainly is one of the most powerful.
Yeah.
Okay. And folks, if you want to follow me, talk about 205 Live Matters, suggest something for the show, you can look me up. You can DM me, look me up on my Twitter, nodq.com/Noah. Takes you to my Twitter page. Keep following nodq.com for this series. What's NXT, NXT UK Tea Party, the reviews, the live chats, our predictions league, and everything in between. Follow nodq.com. Go buy a shirt, nodq.com/shirts. Check out our playlist on Spotify. Hashtag #NoDQ. Over 5,000 songs. I'm pretty sure every theme from WWE then and now is probably on there, and probably some covers. Go buy a pen. There will be a meetup in Toronto. Stay tuned for more details on that. And folks, always remember this, that I'm just a simple man and a lifelong fan of wrestling. So if you also want more wrestling besides this, and talk about other wrestling, AEW, Ring of Honor, Impact, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Indies, support local indie wrestling, folks, and beyond, you can check out my simple YouTube channel where I also host this series. Just look me up. YouTube.com/users/Noah Foster 210. And as always, folks, support your wrestling outlets, both big and small, and let's keep growing this wrestling community together. Simple as that. With that, thank you all once again for joining me and my guest, the holiday, Mr. Chris Mace here, on another wonderful series of 205 Live Matters as we head closer to the road to WrestleMania for a better 205 Live. And with that, have a good night.
All right. Have a good night, y'all.